Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, the person you see in front of you is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, otherwise known as Rachel Thieves. At heart, she's a communist and feminist. She recently replaced in her Treasury office a portrait of Nigel Lawson, an ex-chancellor, with Ellen Wilkinson, who was the founding member of the Communist Party of Great Britain. In the recent budget, she has raised taxation in the UK by a whopping £40 billion. In this video, I will discuss the tax rises which are veering the UK well and truly towards communism and why you should leave if you're either ambitious or have worked hard, saved hard, invested hard, and have created wealth for yourself. There are many countries you can move to, and in this video, I will suggest a number of much better countries to live, work, or retire in, depending, of course, on your circumstances. But firstly, if you are any of the following, I would suggest that you actually stay in the UK. Firstly, if you are lazy and just want to eat, drink, and watch TV all day and be on benefits, then I am sure this government will suit you. If you want to be on your phone all day and dye your hair blue and also be on benefits, I believe this government will also suit your needs. And last, but definitely not least, if you are a single mother with children from different partners and covered in tattoos, this government will be absolutely amazing for you. Now, even before this budget, taxes in the UK were the highest in living memory. But Rachel Reeves has imposed £25 billion a year extra employer national insurance costs on companies and raised the minimum wage to £12.21 an hour. Now, can you imagine the devastation it will cause to small companies? I think you will see a significant number of business closures and job losses as a result, and it will definitely not incentivize entrepreneurs to create new companies. Hospitality will probably take the biggest hit. Now, capital gains tax on shares has also been hiked from 10% to 18% for basic rate taxpayers and from 18% to 24% for higher rate taxpayers. And of course, there's no indexation allowance. So imagine 5 years ago, if you made an investment of £10,000, which increased to 12,500, even though you made a gain of 2,500, in effect, inflation would have wiped out all your gains, but you will still have to pay either 18% or 24% on the nominal gain. So, in effect, you're making a significant loss. And in all honesty, it is now hardly worth investing in shares outside of an ISA, especially if you're a higher rate taxpayer. Now, talking of ISAs, the British ISA has officially been scrapped, and yet again, ISA allowances have been frozen. And if that was not enough, capital gains tax for business asset disposal relief will increase to 14% in 2025 and then to 18% in 26-27. And this is yet another reason not to start a business. Now, let's look at stamp duty for property. The higher rate paid on additional properties has risen from 3% to 5%. And although there had been speculation that the government might cancel a planned cut in stamp duty thresholds in March 2025, this has not been done. So, buy to let, I think, is actually officially dead. If you buy a property for 500,000, you'll pay 40,000 in stamp duty, and you'll pay 50,000 in stamp duty if you're non-resident. And I think as a result, rents are just going to continue to skyrocket. Nobody's going to buy properties to rent. Now let's turn to the most hated tax of all, inheritance tax. Now, the first thing to be attacked was inheritance tax perks on AIM shares. You will now only get 50% relief instead of 100%. And an even bigger change was to scrap the inheritance tax exemptions on pension savings From April 2027, inherited pensions could now see a double tax hit of 70.5%, which is quite incredible. And thresholds have for inheritance tax have also been frozen until 2030. Finally, for business relief and agricultural relief, any assets passed down above 1 million will now only get 50% relief. Now, I feel sorry, I've got to admit, I do feel sorry for the farmers. Brexit has already been an absolute disaster for them. And this is just going to give really, it's going to really add salt to the wounds. And this loony left government is not even trying to get a veterinary agreement with the EU, which is what they promised during their campaign. So now you still have a terrible Brexit deal, and you've got a loony left government to add to that as well. Complete disaster. And taxes are only going to keep rising. So where should you go to escape communist UK? One option could be Italy, where the food, the climate, and medical care is better than the UK. And for people who are happy to retire in a small town in the south of Italy with less than 20,000 inhabitants, or there's some many lovely places, there is the 7% retiree flat tax. And property in many parts of Italy is very cheap. And if you keep a second property for more than 5 years in Italy, you pay no capital gains tax. And inheritance tax is low, up to £1 million, you pay no inheritance tax. And above that, you only pay 4% inheritance tax if you want to leave it to your children. And Italy also has a digital nomad visa with an effectively low rate of tax. Now, another couple of great options, I think, are Bulgaria and Montenegro. Both have very low taxation. So we are talking Bulgaria, general rate of taxation 10%, and Montenegro 15%. I personally like Bulgaria a lot. Cities like Sofia and Varna on the Black Sea, well, Varna is on the Black Sea, are becoming hubs for digital nomads. And the government debt is also very low in Bulgaria. So I think it's unlikely that taxes will need to go up in the future. So you've got relative certainty that taxes should be fairly low in the future as well. And Montenegro is an absolutely beautiful country where the cost of living is so much cheaper than the UK. There's so much nature here. And the coastal towns of Tivat, Budva, and in particular Kotor are absolutely wonderful places in which to live and potentially retire. Now, if you're young and ambitious and want a high salary without paying income tax, Dubai is definitely a good option. Two of my ex colleagues who are struggling in London, even on good salaries, have moved out to Dubai and are very happy out there. Firstly, their salaries are tax free and the cost of living is much lower, in effect, giving them a much, much better lifestyle. And I just want to also give a quick shout out for other European countries like Greece, Romania, Serbia, Poland, and Hungary. Greece has a really beautiful weather and it's got a golden visa available as well. Taxes in Romania are low, as they are in Serbia and Hungary, which are great for wealthy expats to lower their tax rates as well. And also, I want to mention Poland, which will soon have better living standards than the UK and is also good if you're into traditional values. Now, let's also look at Southeast Asia as well. And I also think Southeast Asia, although a lot further, could be a good option as well. Thailand, for example, has great weather, a low cost of living, and in particular, many beautiful beaches. And if you want a slightly richer country than Thailand, Malaysia could also be a good option. You have first world infrastructure, but with relatively low property prices and a relatively low cost of living compared to many countries in Western Europe. Now, the Philippines could also work too. Again, it's fairly easy to move to the Philippines with retirement visas, and it could actually work for you. The Philippines, I like the Philippines. It's got some lovely beaches. It's got lovely people and a very low cost of living and some great nature as well. Now, these are only some of the options. There are other many great countries to move to. So let me know your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.